In this video, I will show you a method to ensure that what you say is always right and never wrong. Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to be right, whatever they seem to say? Or why some people never appear to be wrong, even when you think they might be? Maybe you are thinking about the astrologer predicting the future, or a work colleague in a meeting, or a politician in an interview. How do they do it? Well, one way to do it is to be vague. In a previous video on non-scientific statements, I mentioned the power of being vague, that non-scientific statements can be vague, and you should seek to clarify them before it is too late. This short video will explain why vagueness can be so powerful and how you should deal with it. But first, how and why does it work? Deliberately vague statements can make the source always right. Why? Because you can always make a vague statement fit any event. Vagueness creates the wiggle room that you need to make it fit. You can say one thing today, and if it is vague enough, make it fit a future event. If you do it well, people will believe that you predicted the future. Look at the following example. You will reap benefits from your investments. What does it mean by benefit and investment? The source can manipulate this vagueness by saying, I said you will reap benefits from your investments, and look, you just passed your test after spending hours revising for it. In this way, by being vague, you can give the impression of being right. Deliberately vague statements can make the source never wrong. Why? Because you can always reject a criticism by claiming the other person has misunderstood or misinterpreted you. If you don't like someone's criticism of your words, and if you were vague enough, you can always deflect the criticism by claiming they misinterpreted you. Or more generally, I said X and you interpreted Y, but I did not say Y. The interesting point here is that being vague necessarily requires the other person to interpret what you said. If you were clear, i.e. not vague, they would not need to interpret. They would just understand you. Let's look at the same example. You will reap benefits from your investments. A critic might respond to this with, my stock went down last month. You said I would benefit from my investments. To which the source can respond, you thought I meant a financial benefit from your stock investments, but I never said that. You misinterpreted me. In this way, by being vague, you can deflect almost any criticism. Now, I should point out that I'm not encouraging you to be vague, quite the opposite. But it is important to understand why being vague can be so powerful, and to appreciate the need for clarity. Consider the following examples. Which ones are vague and which are not? How might you change them to make them more vague? How might you change them to make them clear? For the vague ones, what future scenarios can you think of that you can make it fit into? And what criticisms can you think of that could be deflected as misinterpretations? So you understand the power of vagueness and the importance of clarity. Now what? Well, try not to be vague yourself. And if you see someone being vague, politely ask them to clarify whatever they are saying. Most people are not deliberately vague. Just be careful of the ones that are, especially if they appear to be always right and never wrong.